Election Day in Georgia is 1 week from today, and the enthusiasm there off the charts. More than 2.3 million people have already voted in Georgia, which is already record turnout for a runoff in the state. The amount of money being spent is also unprecedented. More than $500 million in ad time has already been snapped up, with each side spending at least $250 million. But Republicans have a huge edge in outside spending, with super PACs led by people like Karl Rove forking over 3 times as much cash as Democratic groups have. A report from NBC confirming the worries from the Warnock and Ossoff teams about being outraised and outspent. That report also says Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer has soured on the chances of the Democrats to win in Georgia, and he stopped meeting with potential donors because of it. A spokesman for Schumer denied the reports. Our field producer, Annie Anderson, has been crisscrossing Georgia for weeks, and today she visited 2 different counties to speak with voters and follow the candidates.
The Georgia Democratic Party continued their New Year, New Senate tour here in Savannah. And unlike in other areas of the state, here, people I talked to say, along with focusing on the big picture, this election is also still about those kitchen table issues.
A popular destination, much of Chatham County's income is tied to tourism. Georgia State Senator Lester Jackson saying that's why so many people here are heading to the polls.
What's important to them is a livable wage. Most of my constituents, as I go from district to district, they talk about livable wage and access to affordable health care. Those are the 2 most precious things that's on their mind. And this last thing, this stimulus package that's in Congress right now, is at the tip of everybody's tongue. We need relief.
More than 2.3 million Georgians have already cast their ballot. But at their New Year, New Senate tour, Savannah area Democrats saying more people need to go out to vote.
Dr. King said, give us the vote, and we will change the course of this nation. It's the dream of Dr. King, for every man and woman to be free. And what better way to do it than to use your VOTE? We encourage you to vote.
In November, Chatham County went for President-elect Joe Biden by 18 points. John Ossoff won the county by 17 points. And Reverend Raphael Warnock won it by 18 points. With those numbers, this is a county Democrats are counting on voters to turn out. But so far, Chatham County is behind the state average in turnout. Only 21.2% of its registered voters have voted. But State Representative J. Craig Gordon says he believes those numbers aren't completely representative.
I think there are going to be a lot of folk who are going to drop off ballots, may have already even sat down at the kitchen table with their family and filled the ballot out and just have not dropped it off at the Board of Elections or at one of the certified voting boxes yet. And I think there are going to be others that come along with the plethora that probably come in on or before the 5th.
As Georgians head to the polls, the nation's eyes are on them, knowing the balance of the Senate is in their hands. But Jackson believes Savannians aren't thinking about that as they vote.
It's not more about control of the Senate. This election about their access to health care, their access to a livable wage, their access to an economic environment that will help their families and help their access to quality education if they choose to have one.
And while Gordon does agree with him in part, he argues his constituents are also aware of the nationwide impact of this election.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it starts with the kitchen table issues. I think you've gotten, even if you look at the tea leaves and the talking heads, I've seen more Republicans now coming out against our president and his lack of leadership than I have since he was elected. And I think even they realize that the Biden-Harris team is the best and the most equipped to not just rebrand America as it relates to the world, but make sure that the citizens of the United States of America are served to the best of their ability as well.
Different counties have different cutoffs for their early voting, but already, as of today, Georgians have already broken the record for turnout for a runoff election that was set in 2008, and already, days from the election, that has been surpassed. In Savannah, Annie Anderson for RNN.
We will find out how it all plays out 1 week from tonight. And if you recall from Election Day in November, Georgia turned around its results very quickly, so we should get results from those runoffs Tuesday night. Up next on RFL, Kamala Harris got the shot today just before Joe Biden slammed the Trump administration for its handling of the vaccine rollout. After the break, we'll discuss that and more with ABC News chief medical correspondent Dr. Jen Ashton.